Okay, it's 5:30. I would like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this is a meeting of the school board for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business. It is not to be considered a public community meeting. Public comments are limited to items on the agenda. There will be a time for public participation as indicated by agenda item number 5. The board receives agenda item information and rationale for administrative recommendations for their thorough review before each meeting. Normally, we would have, well, first we want to recognize the media, but I don't believe we have any here tonight, do we? Okay, normally we do students of the month, but due to the school closure today, we've postponed that to the February meeting. That way we weren't asking the kids to show up today after being canceled from school. We also have on 2.3 a special presentation on curriculum that we're going to postpone to the February meeting. And then that moves us to reports. I believe many of the administrators were excused tonight due to the weather, but I do have a few here. So first up would be Mr. J.D. Maurer.
He's not used to being first.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for having me. Please be safe in this weather. For junior high, I'll make it quick. A couple of things. One of the focuses recently is going to be House Bill 1634. House Bill 1634 aims to have automatic enrollment for junior high students in a higher math honors course. That is going to be in effect for this coming next year. So one of the things that we have done to look into that and to get ahead of that is plan how that's going to look. For the next board meeting, as a part of my board report, I will have a matrix, a flow chart, and a narrative for you so that you can understand and ask questions on what we've come to as a committee, our math committee decision, how that's going to look. In short, you'll have your standard grade level education, you'll have an enrichment level education in that grade, and then those students that pass an I-Learn of C or better or have proficiency or exemplar in I-Learn will have an opportunity to bump a grade into honors. Example 6 would go to 7th. I'll outline that for you in a flow chart so it makes more sense with more specific narratives. But what I want you to take away from this board report is that we see that from the state. We've looked at the guidance on House Bill 1634. We've looked at the interventions that need to be in place also for struggling students, and we have a plan at Whitko Junior High. Okay, so there's that. I want to thank the board. I want to thank Dr. Corse and Dr. Carroll for giving us an opportunity to go to the Marzano conference in San Antonio. I believe I can speak on behalf of all administrators that was a wonderful opportunity to improve, to collaborate, and we all brought something back, and it was dollars and time well spent for the corporation. What the junior and senior high are going to be working on and planning now and through the summer and for next fall are common instructional practices, such, for example, common grading norms, an instructional framework that looks like what goes about in the daily routine. How does a teacher start their classroom session, and what do those norms look like? Not to take away the autonomy from a teacher and their individualism, but what can be some common instructional practices when we come in, we take attendance, we do our anticipatory set, we start our objectives, do they align to standards, what kind of outcomes are there, what kind of goals are there, and what are students learning as they walk out. So those common instructional practices that every classroom would have as a framework. so that there's some consistency. That helps with training for new teachers, and that helps dial in some of those veteran teachers that maybe have gotten off course just a little bit, or that can help some of those new teachers come in, understand those common norms and frameworks. So those are some of the things that we took back. Another one of those things that we took back, and I'll speak for Mrs. Longabaugh on this too, is a course description guide. Looking at the high school, looking at the junior high, what can we put together that tells parents, that tells the community, that tells students, here's what we offer, and offer some kind of narrative to that. So like I explained House Bill 1634 to you. Do parents know what that is? Do students know what that is? So help with the communication and what we're offering. So thank you again for allowing us to go as a unit, as a group. It was wonderful collaboration, wonderful time to learn, and very well, a lot of dollars used. So we got a lot out of that, and I just want to say thank you. And lastly, I always like to end with joy in learning. So junior high is going to offer a Valentine's Day dance. Yes, it will be hosted on Friday the 13th. The kids think that's really cool. So I've told them like no weird Halloween themes or anything like that, but they wanted some Halloween music and things played, and I told the DJ we can go ahead and incorporate some of that as long as it's appropriate. Kind of cool. They're going to be crowned a prince and a princess, just as prom would have the king and the queen. The junior high will have the prince and the princess. We're looking into some giveaways and such. Ashley Hines and the Sunshine Society has been wonderful in helping me plan this, so shout out to her and those students that are helping with that. It's going to be a great time, and to drive junior high rapport and culture, and also to bring up some of those grades and reward students that are doing well. We've said that in order to attend this dance, which is a free dance, in order to attend, you have to have all passing grades. So basically, for the first 6 weeks of the term, I didn't count semester 1, all right, just for the first 6 weeks of this term, they have to be passing all courses to attend the dance. So help to recognize some of those students that are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and drive up and keep motivated some of the ones that are struggling. So that's it for me. Any questions? Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Next, we have Rhonda Snavely.
Not used to being so quick in the line. We had our drug audit, our annual drug audit with the state police. Last week, all of our numbers were met with 0 positives, of course, but that's always a great thing. Our new driver files were all complete and up to date, and he was happy with the layout. He did made a few recommendations on things as a new trooper for us that he would like to see added to our driver's files moving forward, which was just some minor details. Jacob Hill started on January 5th as our full-time mechanic. He's doing outstanding. He's been taking on a lot of the plowing that you're seeing at some of the buildings, and he's jumped right in with both feet and taken off. He has attended the 3-day class to obtain his yellow card, and is anxious to get his Class B CDL. He has a CDL, but he needs the endorsements to go along with it. So he's been working on that as well. Officer Hartman will be here on the 29th to go over our state bus inspection with him, which is a great opportunity for him to learn what the expectations are firsthand. Not having that experience as a bus mechanic, there's a lot of things that the troopers look for that they don't always look for with the Class A and the semi part of it. So that's going to be great training for him moving forward. We have everything that is to be auctioned off at our east shed. Lynn has contacted Metzger's, and Raynell was at our facility last Wednesday to kind of go over and tag everything and get some pictures. She did have a later appointment and didn't get through everything, so she will be coming back as soon as she has a little bit more time. So I'm anxious to get all that stuff cleared out. And just basically been working on a lot of snow removal. And starting buses and making sure everything's ready to go when the time comes. Any questions?
Thank you.
Good job. Our janitors have done a great
They
job.
are. They've all done an outstanding job. Just still my habit is when I'm out checking roads to go through all the facilities, and I've been really pleased and they've all stepped up and done a fantastic job.
Thank you. Next, we have Dr. Carroll.
Good evening. I just have a couple of things I would like to share with you. Do you have a packet like this in front of you? We do. Awesome. Okay. I want to share a little bit of an update with diagnostic assessment results for you guys. But there's a couple of things I want you to remember about what we've done with the curriculum since July. So for K through 8 ELA, which is English Language Arts, we have reworked all curriculum maps. The middle school is still working on solidifying theirs, but we have also aligned all of them to the checkpoints for grades 3 through 8. So that's for English Language Arts. So a lot of new things happening, but we have been using the ARC, the American Reading Company, and we realigned that curriculum that was purchased to match the checkpoint. So just kind of keep that in mind as we look at this data. And then this year is a brand new year for math, K-8. With Ready Mathematics. So on top of the results I'm going to show you tonight, I want you to keep in mind that teachers are also implementing a brand new math curriculum for the first time. So with all of that, as you go through your packet, if it is a red colored slide, that is the reading score for that grade level. If it is a blue colored slide, it represents a math for that grade level, okay? So I think I have something along. So the very first slide, before I go into any detail with each grade level, I want to point out to the audience and to the board that there are 5 different colors represented on each slide. There is a dark green. If you could see kind of over to the left-hand side, you'll typically see the dark green shading. The dark green shading means students are mid or above grade level, okay? If it's just green, it's early on or right at grade level. Yellow means possibly about one grade level behind. And that's where we usually see the most growth from beginning of the year to the end of the year as we close those yellow gaps. And then just the red bar that you see closer over to the right means 2 grade levels behind. And if you see the dark red bar, that means 3 or more grade levels behind. So I want you to understand when I share the percentages with you what that actually means, okay? So this very first slide here, this is looking at the entire district, K-5 for reading. And the reason it's only K-5 for reading is because they are the only ones who took the iReady reading diagnostic. Our middle schoolers still took NWEA this year because we had one more year of a contract with NWEA. So next year, that will fall off, and all students in the district for reading will take iReady. But, so when you look at this first slide here, the district K-5 reading scores, the very first picture for the audience is the beginning of the year. Results, so at the beginning of the year, we had about 25% in the green, which is at or above grade level. But in the middle of the year, which is that second bar, that second visual bar, as a district, we're at 50% at or above. So we had a 25% increase in growth. And then you can peek at the yellow, but I really want to draw your attention also to the red, because when students take the iReady assessment in the very beginning of the year, it shoots them on an individual pathway to try and fill individual gaps in their math learning and in their reading learning. So when we see these red bars shrink from beginning of the year to the middle of the year, that's exactly what we want to see. So I kind of drew your attention district-wide in the green, 25 to 50%, so a 25% growth. If you look at the red, we started at 26%, but as a district, we're closing that gap because in the middle of the year, we're at 14%. Yeah, so that's really exciting for reading. So then if you flip to the next page, this is district-wide K-8 math. So at the beginning of the year, we were at 14% in the green. In the middle of the year, we doubled that, and we were at 28%. Now, I want you to remember and go back to, they're also implementing a brand-new curriculum, also have aligned everything with checkpoints. Like, they are working really hard with all of the changes. So this is pretty exciting. When you look at the red portion district-wide, we were at 32% in the red, and we have shrank that to 21%. And those are district-wide scores, K-8 for math. So if you continue to flip through here, I will move somewhat quickly, but I'm going to start with kindergarten, and then I'll go through 8th grade. So with kindergarten, looking at the beginning of the year to the middle of the year for reading, because this is reading, we were at 25% at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, 74%. So there's quite a bit of growth that you see happening in kindergarten with reading, and I do want to attribute all the work they're doing with the 5 pillars of reading, with the phonemic awareness and the phonics implementation that they have started this year. If you look at yellow, they went from 75% down to 26%, and obviously there are no red because our kindergartners cannot be 2 or 3 years behind. Okay, so we're just looking at green and yellow for kindergarten. So those are your reading scores, middle of the year. If you change to the next one, we have kindergarten math. So if you just look at the green, we started at 7% at the beginning of the year, and we are now at 42% in the middle of the year. Yellow went from 93% down to 57%. So some great gains happening in kindergarten. Moving along, I don't know what just happened, but moving along to 1st grade reading, which is your red slide. The green at or above at the beginning of the year, we were at 7%. And in the middle of the year when 1st grade took their reading diagnostic, they were at 40%. So again, I attribute it to a lot of that phonemic awareness and phonics work that's happening in those lower grades. And if you look at the red, we were at 3% at the beginning of the year, and we dropped that to 2%. So this really excites me because the purpose of the iReady program is to close those gaps and make sure students are, you'll see the gap widen as students get older, but if we can keep these red sections as little as we possibly can in the beginning, that means they're on track and they're on target if we can continue to push them that way. So I think it's pretty impressive that we're closing gaps at that younger age, and that's our goal. So the next one, let me go back here, is 1st grade math. We went from 2% at the beginning of the year to 11% at or above. But I want you to really take a look at that red. We were at 16%, and we closed that gap to 2%. So that's pretty exciting. Moving along to 2nd grade reading. At the beginning of the year for 2nd grade reading, we were at 18%. And in the middle of the year, 42%. The red was 35%, and we moved that down to 17%, but I want you to notice that there is no dark red. So we are really, really, really closing those gaps. 2nd grade math, we were at 7% at the beginning of the year, and we are now at 21%. Our below grade level was at 31% at the very beginning, and we are now down to 11%. So they are starting to close those gaps, which is really exciting. So moving along to 3rd grade reading, and this is really exciting. And just a reminder that 2nd grade takes iRead in the spring, and so does 3rd grade. So this is a really good predictor of what we might see. So at the very beginning of the year, 3rd grade reading was 51%, and we took it at the middle of the year, and we are now at 68%. So that's really exciting. And then our red went from 27% down to 11%. And if you look at that dark red, it's closing the gap even more because we went from 7% that were 2 or 3 or more grade levels to 3%. And sometimes that is in this particular case, it's only 3 students if you look at the details down below. All right, third grade math. At the beginning of the year, we were at 10% at or above grade level, and we moved to, in the middle of the year, 28% at or above grade level. Our red population went from 33% to 13%. So closing gaps on both end and pushing students. Just something kind of neat to share. Look at the third grade math for the middle of the year. There is no dark red. So those gaps are closing. So for fourth grade reading, we started at 23% at the beginning of the year, and we are now at 38%. And with our red population, we were at 30%, and we are now at 16%. So far we have growth on one end, and we're closing the gap on the other with every grade level. Fourth grade math started at 19% for math, and we are now at 29%. And our red population went from 33% to 24%. So moving right along, fifth grade, our reading went from 23% at the beginning of the year to 38% middle of the year. But take a look at the red. We went from 50% to 28%, which is super exciting. And I've used iReady and Ready Math previously in my district, so I've worked with this program for 8 years, and that's significant growth in just the short time from August till now. If you look at fifth grade math, we went from 18% at the beginning of the year to 43% at or above grade level in the green. Our red population went from 37% to 23%. So then the next 3 slides are middle school only, and I only have math results because they only take the math iReady diagnostic because they are still taking NWEA, like I mentioned before. So 6th grade math, we started at 13%, and we had growth to 24%. Our below grade level population went from 44% to 33%. 7th grade math, we were at 20 at the beginning of the year, and we stayed 20 at the middle of the year. But what I want to show you is the red population went from 43% to 35%. And I can tell you right now that both math teachers at the middle school have been working diligently with making sure that they are aligning everything they're doing with the checkpoints. So that's something to really think about when it comes to middle school math, because they are teaching iReady all year long. We've aligned it to the checkpoints, but sometimes what the checkpoints are assessing, right, iReady assesses everything, where the checkpoint data is very specific to what they're teaching in the classroom. So remember, there are things on here that maybe we're not growing as much because they haven't taught that yet, because we aligned our curriculum maps with the checkpoints. So I hope that makes sense, and I'm happy to answer any questions about that.
A quick question.
Sure, absolutely.
So our middle school English, they don't take iLearn?
They do.
Okay.
They do.
So
This is iReady.
This is iReady. So this is a diagnostic assessment we purchased that they take 3 times a year, beginning of the
Okay.
year, middle of the year, end of the year. Great
Okay,
question.
got it.
So, yeah, they still take their checkpoints, and I think that's the data I shared with you last meeting or the meeting before, and we are in the middle of checkpoint 2 right now. So then as soon as we wrap that up, you'll see that checkpoint data for them. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then for 8th grade math, it's my last slide here. I have 22% at the beginning of the year in green, and we have moved that score to 35% in the middle of the year. And again, our red population went from 49% to 41%, but I really want to point out the dark red went from 35% to 22%. That's hard at a middle school level to close that gap that quickly. So they're really working hard, and I really believe that the individual pathways that the program presents itself to students is very beneficial and is helping close those gaps. Do you have any questions about that?
So we'll do testing in the spring, at the end of year. and it looks like it's going to trend positive because all these are trending positive.
Yes.
So if I were to keep this in the second grade reading next year, make that third grade reading, what do people tend to regress to? I mean, are we going to stay up here, or is there a certain amount that you're expecting as those to drop as they start as third graders and we got to start over, try to move up, or what's your history tell you on that?
Sure. I think there's always some kind of a summer slide and some regression. It's probably really hard to put a number to it because especially with ELA and reading, I know that last summer this district had summer school. They had some remedial options for students, so hopefully we'll be able to have that again. But there always is some kind of a summer slide.
Would you be surprised to see it drop all the way back to those numbers, though, I guess is my question? Or we have to start over again? Or typically is it 10% or I don't know. I don't know if you can throw a number down.
I don't know if I can put a number on it. I definitely think you'll see it drop again because it's assessing them on grade level standards. So once it will start their assessment at their grade level standards, and then it'll alter based on, okay, if they're doing really well, we're going to give them challenging questions, right? So you might see a little bit of a slide, but I don't know if you'll see a significant slide.
Okay.
But I think you will see some, yes.
Yes.
I think as we do with everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I would like to thank you for the presentation that you gave the other night at the Whitko 101. Did a really nice job. And
Oh, thank you.
I heard people talking when it was over that they didn't know all that, and they were appreciative of what you taught them that evening or what you enabled them to learn.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's the end of reports we have for tonight, so we'll move on to 4.0, which are donation and grant updates with our superintendent.
All right. We would like to thank all of the donors. We greatly appreciate what comes in month after month. We do not take it lightly. The first one is from Bowen Health for criminal justice competitions. It's $1,527.03. The second one is for South Whitley Community Facilities from South Whitley Community Facilities, for the South Whitley Boomerang Backpack Program, and that's $1,000. $500 from UPI Parks, which is in Oakwood, Illinois, to support Whitko FFA chapter. And the last one is from Lex Lill of Pierceton to support the boys basketball team, and that was also $500.
Thank you to everyone who donated. 5.0 is public comments. We do have one person signed up. Mike Howard, would you like to go ahead and take the mic, please?
I'd like to thank you guys for this opportunity to just come down here and talk for a second. As we are considering curriculum and adopting new credits and what we're going to do as far as diploma, I currently teach government and econ at the high school, and I just want to speak for a few minutes on the behalf of economics and economic education for our students. Right now, anticipating 33 out of 84 students are going to be college bound. So if they're college bound, they are going to be taking an Econ 101 course, just as they're going to be taking most likely a government course as well. So I think it's important from that standpoint that we're helping prepare our kids going into college to be ready to take an econ course, so they're not seeing necessarily this kind of material for the first time. I think you can then contrast that with, we have this wonderful facility and we're preparing so many people for trades and heading out into the work world right away when they graduate, which is what a lot of our students want to do. So if they are not getting economics education through us, where are they getting it then? And I think it's just invaluable. For my parents, the world has evolved. I mean, as we all know here, like, you didn't have to worry about 401k and 403b and am I getting a stock, like, what am I doing? I just saved money and I put it in there. So I think introducing students to a lot of different branches of economics, not just like basic things like supply and demand, but giving them the idea of, this is what it looks like for you when maybe you're going to do a mortgage. What is your credit score going to do for you, and how do you build that? Can you talk to your parents when you are a student, and can they be helping you build a credit score? If you don't want to go to college, I now have to transition into that adult world, and no credit is worse than bad credit in most situations. And I just think there are a lot of things that it also ties to government. I talk to my students all the time about, in history, there are no strong governments without strong economies, and there are no strong economies without strong government. So I think they both go hand in hand and tie together as far as curricularly. They feed each other all the time, and they're so interconnected with kind of what we do as a country and how we go about it. And I know from a personal standpoint, I wish I would have paid so much more attention in econ class as I was going through it, because the world is so, I think, challenging for our students now, in how they handle their economic future when they come out can really determine their success level going down. When you see those stark numbers of when I save at 20, 22, 24, compared, if I start putting money away then, just basic things. And I know we do a little bit of that with personal finance, but I think it's a lot to ask an 8th grader to wrap their head around that. And much better as a senior transitioning into either the workforce or heading off to college. So many decisions they have to make with interest rates and what career am I going to go into? It's not just numbers and graphs. It's really trying to make it very applicable to real world situations they have now when we go out there. And I just want to advocate for that being a continued option for our students, or even requirement for sure. I think it's invaluable to them just to have that and to have a little taste of that. And they may not see any value in it when they're doing it in the moment, but when they get out into that world, beyond their senior year, hopefully they can draw back. And that's one of the things that's rewarding for me. You don't always get that as a teacher, where in the moment people are like, thank you, I really appreciated that, what you did on mortgage rates and whatever it was going to be. But when you see them when they're 23 and they're like, hey, this and this, then that's a very rewarding thing. And I would hate to see that at least not be considered an important part of what we're going to ask our students to do here. It aligns with our vision as well, the idea of lifelong learners. And if they don't get it here, where are they going to get it in this world now? We can ask them to do it on their own, but I think that's a tall, when we have to do it on our own, that's a tall order for these guys that we have going here. Any questions you guys have for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
I want to take the class.
you might want to reserve, you might want to slow down on that just a little bit, Georgia, but I would have loved to have you come in. We did have a Whitko grad. I would like to just say this, and just a public thank you to Tracy Brandenburg, who came back in. He was willing to come in and just talk to our students, my econ students, about what he does, the business world, just in a variety of different things. And we had another individual from the corporate world, Todd Weaver, who came in and just talked about a lot of different fundamental, basic sort of initial IQ things that I thought would really be helpful to our students. And they both just couldn't stress this idea enough about taking care of your credit score, building credit early, doing all these things that are going to set them up for success down the road. But again, if there's nothing else, I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity just to advocate for econ and continuation at Whitko High School.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, 6.0 is business reports and consent agenda. So we have several items. 6.1 are the minutes for December 10th executive session and work session, and the December 15th regular meeting minutes. We have 6.2 accounts payable and receivable, payroll claims for December 19th, January 2nd, January 16th, claims for January 14th, voided checks and monthly transfers. 6.3 are the financial reports, the revenue report, the appropriation report, the fund report, and the financial report. And then 6.4 is extracurricular reports for Pierceton, South Whitley Elementary, and the junior senior high school. And then we have a list of some personnel and employment actions. May I have a motion to approve everything in 6.0?
I move that we,
Go ahead.
I move that we approve the business reports and consent agendas as presented.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? We will proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. 7.0 is new business. 7.1 is the approval of Warwick and Boyne as school legal representatives. May I have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve Warwick and Boyne as our school legal representatives.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion? We will now proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The motion passes. 7.2 is the approval of the updated cell phone allowance list. May I have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the updated cell phone allowance list.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion? We will now proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 7.3 is the approval of Georgia Tenney as the liaison to the Indiana School Board Association. May I have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve Georgia Tenney as a liaison for the Indiana School Board Association.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion? We will proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. 7.4 is the approval of ISBA policies, Book 3000, Part 1 and Part 2, on first reading, with the second and final reading at the February 16th, 2026 school board meeting. This is part of a book-by-book changeover from Neola Policy Management to Indiana School Board Association Policy Management. May I have a motion to approve?
I move we approve the ISBA policies, Book 3000, Parts 1 and Part 2 on the first reading, with the second reading and final reading at the February 16th, 2026 school board meeting.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion? We will proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 7.5 is the approval of policy 1106 update regarding a vacancy on the school board, removing language indicating a lack of candidates for school board election causes a vacancy on the board. Also, the board members may develop a list of prospective appointees, consider applications, and reduce the candidate list to 3 individuals in executive session. Interviews with candidates for a vacant school board position are to be conducted in a public meeting. This update follows a recommendation by our school lawyer, Tim Shelley. May I have a motion to approve 7.5?
I move that we approve policy 1106 for update regarding a vacancy on the school board.
I second it.
It's been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion?
I just have a clarifying question. So the board members would not be making this list or any of that if the person who is a holdover decides to be a holdover, correct? Okay.
The biggest change for this is that you used to interview candidates in an exec session, so privately, and now we have to interview them publicly in a forum such as this.
Okay. Sounds fair.
Any further discussion? We will now proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. 7.6 is the approval of diploma requirements as recommended by Whitko Junior Senior High Principal Kathy Longenball.
So we are looking for approval for the new diploma requirements. Currently, the state has the requirements that would start with our current freshmen. So our sophomores, juniors, and seniors will finish out the old diploma. With the new one, we would like to require econ to be added as it currently is. Our students have to do that now. We would like to keep that as the same. And then the math would be that they have to take geometry as one of their classes that they have to take, even though it doesn't change the amount of math that they're taking, but it specifically states geometry. And those are the only changes that we're asking.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve 7.6?
I move that we approve the diploma requirements as recommended by WJSHS Principal Kathy Longenbaugh.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion?
I would just like to thank you for the work on getting the number down so that we don't have students who are having to take many more classes. Of course. Than required.
Any other discussion? We will proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 7.7 is the approval of super eval proposal, use of superintendent evaluation platform, startup fee and license.
So I have brought to you tonight the super eval, which currently we, as you know, just use the old-fashioned hand-papered form. This allows me to give you updates throughout the year on a regular basis. It sets due dates. It provides for the communication that you would need. Currently, we have the evaluation. You'll see the list, this form, and it shows the what I'm evaluated on currently, and then the one on the right is what they're recommending is through the Indiana School Board Association and the Indiana Association of Public School Superintendents. So they're basically the same, they're just in different order. So the categories aren't necessarily the same, but it's the platform that's digital that allows us to keep track of the indicators that I am responsible for, and then adding evidence and data throughout the year, and then it tallies it and kind of coordinates with our district goals and my goals and the goals that I set. So I am looking for approval of that tonight, currently.
I would like to see this tabled because of the cost. And I think that there is a free way to do something similar. We could just do, like a Google Drive, and we could have a folder for each one of these metrics, and then she could upload her information to it, if that's what you want to do. But $2,500 a year is, I think, expensive for something that we haven't had to pay for before. We already paid for a consultant to make an evaluation tailored to Whitko already. So we've already put that money, we've already spent that money. And now we're going to spend $2,500 a year every year for this. So I just feel like there is a free way we could be fair and still do this, but not have to pay $2,500 just to make it digital, because we could make it digital ourselves.
So you'd like to make a motion to table it?
I would, and until we
Okay.
figure out what this actually, because we didn't even see this until tonight, so.
May I have a second for tabling?
I second.
Okay, it has been properly moved in second to table item 7.7, so we will be voting on tabling it. Is there any further discussion? We'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of tabling the proposal, please signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose? Nay. Motion carries. 7.8 is the approval of field trips. May I have a motion to approve the field trips as listed?
I move that we approve the field trips as presented.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion? We will now proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. 8.0 is the old business. 8.1 would be the second and final approval of ISBA Book 2000 policies as presented. This is a book-by-book changeover from Neola Policy Management to Indiana School Board Association Policy Management. May I have a motion to approve 8.1?
I move that we approve the second and final approval of ISBA Book 2000 policies as presented.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The motion carries. 9.0 is miscellaneous administrative items. That's with Dr. Corus.
All right. I have a few things. Typically, Kathy covers a lot of this, but I wanted them to make sure that they were recognized, so I'm going to cover a little bit of her things as well. I would like to congratulate Reese Stonebreaker, who signed with St. Francis University to play basketball. Additionally, congratulations to our Lady Wildcats, who are the basketball TRC champions, and their first game is against Woodland on February 3rd, so very excited with basketball. Secondly, this one's going to be a little wordy, but I'm going to read it all. The Whitko Junior Senior Art students competed in the 56th World School Children's Art Exhibition in the Republic of China and received 3 selected medals of excellence and a bronze medal. The World Children's Art Exhibition is held to promote mutual understanding and friendship among the young generation of the world through the exchange of children's artwork. What's significant about this is that we had awards for Evan Tucker, Liliana Struckman, and Skylar Dager, and Gracelyn Rose also received a bronze medal for her artwork. This competition includes 40 countries. These awards continue with Whitko students a long tradition of winning, and Whitko art students received 63 state, 45 national, and 215 international awards to date. And there's one more thing I wanted to read on here. It was important. They only gave out 13 awards to students in the United States, and we received 4 of them. So I was so impressed by that. I had to read that. Secondly, also in the art realm, Whitko art students have winning 20 Scholastic Awards in the 2026 Regional Scholastic Art Contest in Fort Wayne. Their work is part of more than 2,000 pieces entered from students in Northeast Indiana, Northwest Ohio, and that's presented in the Fort Wayne Museum of Art, and you can go see that. It's on display. So thank you to Mr. Malicki and his whole crew. I mean, it's the amount of awards they win are just year after year impressive.
You said it was the 56th on the Taiwan? 56th annual?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was in the 17th. So we've been doing it at least that long.
That means you're old. Well done, Scott. Okay, so continuing on, with all the weather cancellations, we will continue to update the calendar. We don't know if the state will give us emergency waiver days for especially today because the whole state was under a weather advisory. I know people will start asking, so I just want to clarify, we don't know yet, but when I do find out, I will push that out. It has also changed the last day of our school day, potentially. So as soon as we figure that out, I will update the calendar and get that out to the community and to the staff, because I know everyone wants to know, and I do too. So as soon as I know, you will know. I also want to thank our custodians and transportation. They were out plowing all weekend, and they're exhausted. And I'm tired of talking about the weather, but I'm sure they're tired of moving snow and ice and throwing salt down. So, Rhonda, thank you for your team. Thank you to our facilities. They're not here tonight, but they've done a fantastic job. And we have 4 or 5 properties, and they're all well taken care of. So, thank you to them. We had our first Whitko 101, which focused on curriculum instruction with Dr. Jamie Carroll. We had a great turnout, so thank you to the community members who attended. Our next session is Wednesday, February 18th, and we will be focusing on finances. I'm looking forward to that. And I would also like to thank Dr. Jamie Carroll for her contribution to Whitko. She played an integral part in helping us getting our curriculum maps organized across the district. Her leadership, energy, and enthusiasm are unmatched, and she will be greatly missed. We wish her the best of luck at Westview as the next superintendent of schools, and I look forward to her friendship and being her sidekick as she goes down this path along with me. So I couldn't think of a better person to do it with. Dr. Carroll, would you like to say anything? Okay.
So thank you for that, but I knew this was coming, so I had to put it on paper. I just want to make sure like my thoughts and my heart are heard by all of you. So I have written this. To the Whitko School Board, I want to sincerely thank each of you for the trust you've placed in me and the opportunity to serve this district. Your support allowed me to grow as a leader and to contribute to the work that truly matters for students, staff, and families. Serving Whitko has been an honor, and I am deeply thankful for the confidence you showed me and for your commitment to doing what is best for this community. I feel incredibly blessed to have been part of this board administration team that is so dedicated to students and to the future of the district. So thank you to each one of you. I really appreciate it. And to Dr. Corris, I've known Dr. Corris for a few years now, and I'm especially grateful for your leadership, your confidence in me, and your mentorship that you've provided me through my time here at Whitko. Learning and growing under your leadership has been incredibly meaningful. Your guidance, support, and trust has shaped my professional growth in ways that will stay with me for the rest of my career. I will always value what I learned from working alongside you, and I am thankful for the opportunity to have served under your leadership. During my time at Whitko, I have had the privilege of working alongside dedicated staff, administrators, students, and supportive families. And I mean this, and I want to say that Whitko is truly a hidden gem. And I want everyone to hear that loud and clear. It's a community that cares deeply about education, and what they're doing is right for kids. I'm grateful for the relationships built, the work accomplished together, and the chance to be part of this special community. So thank you. Thanks again. It's been truly a privilege. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have nothing else.
Okay. 10.0 is public comments on non-agenda items. I have no one signed up for that, so we'll skip to 11.0 miscellaneous items. The next school board meeting is Monday, February 16th at 5:30 p.m. in the Whitko Career Academy lecture room. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
There's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Proceed to vote. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for coming tonight. We are adjourned.